Okay, now that we've moved the class over into the migrate folder, the first thing we want to do is we want to clean up any items in the class that we know we don't want to bring over to Blackboard. Like I'd mentioned earlier, let's say I know I don't want to bring advertising over. This is a sort of a big thing to take out. But let's say you know you don't want to bring this module over. It wasn't successful, or you didn't have enough time, or you know you really probably want to build it maybe from the ground up again. I'm just going to go ahead and delete it. I'm in the migrate folder. Make sure you're in the migrate folder. This also might be something you want to do maybe when the class is not in session, just in case. But again, migrate folder. I'm going to delete that folder, and it is no longer there. I can then sort of look through here and say, okay, I know now this creates a hole here. This is actually going to be module 10, I believe. Yes. So there's that. So now I've got these in order. Now, if you notice, I've got dates in here. Now, here's something to know. Blackboard does not have subheaders. So there is no subhead in Blackboard. So anything you're used to putting in the subhead, when you go to settings, and here's the subtitle, that is not going to show up in Blackboard. I would recommend, though, getting rid of it in Angel. So I'm going through my settings, and I'm deleting all of these. And just clearing them out. Okay, so those are all deleted. Subtitles are deleted. Now there's a limit to what the titles can be, and that is 255 characters. And if it's over 255 characters, I believe it's going to error. So, I think we're fine here. You could always put this into Word to check your character length. But, if you've got something that's really, really long and it scrolls over to here, you might want to narrow that down a little bit. So about 255 characters for your titles. That includes, inside your modules. You want to keep it down past 255 characters. Now, that brings us to the next thing we want to do, is we want to make sure that we've got all our dates off, all our subheads off. We've removed any of the projects that we don't want. Let's say we know we don't want I'm going to go to crowdsourcing. Let's say I know I don't want this assignment. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm deleting that Dropbox because I'm not going to do an assignment in that next semester, let's say, or when I bring it over to Blackboard. And why it's important to get rid of assignments and discussions and anything that's an activity, that's a graded activity, a quiz, a test, is that when you export, it will bring those things into Blackboard and put them in your grade center. And yes, you can hide them in Blackboard's grade center, but it's very hard, if not impossible, to delete them. And then you've just got sort of a grade center that can get really unwieldy with all these things you've hidden and you've brought over that you don't need. So the key thing is, look, am I going to do this discussion again? Am I going to give this quiz again? Am I going to give this test again? Am I going to have this Dropbox again? If you're not, get rid of them. And then you can rebuild them or change them however you want when you go over to Blackboard. But get rid of any assignments, get rid of any tests, anything you don't want. Especially if it's assignment based, because then it goes into the grade book. Or grade center. I'm sorry, it's going to call it grade center. And we'll talk about that when we get there. So I remove something here. I'm going to maybe remove this assignment as well. Let's say this is no assignments in this module. I'm getting rid of all the assignments, so they're gone. So those won't show up. Okay. So we've done a basic cleaning. a fairly dramatic cleaning here. I've got rid of a module. I've got rid of some quizzes and tests. That's the first thing I would do. Do your large scale cleaning. What tests, quizzes, discussions, drop boxes, which ones am I not going to use? Get rid of them. Are my titles and my texts inside under 255 characters? Have I gotten rid of my subheads? Once you do that, then we can move into the next phase. And that's going to be making sure that all your lore items are in your class.